This is Anime Out of Context, a comedy review podcast hosted by a weeb of the highest order, alongside a cynical man who knows nothing about anime. Our show features spoilers, explicit language, and poor fact-checking. Neither of our hosts are experts on any topic, and none of their opinions should be taken as fact. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird,
Did you forget your intro?
No, I just had a brain fart for some reason. Let me try that again. Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context. Sorry, I'm still fucking flabbergasted by the pillow.
Such a great pillow.
Let me try that a third time. Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I'm trying to get my dick out of a durian.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Dylan Kreider.
Fuck you, Dylan. People who aren't patrons won't understand that reference, so you pulled a Remington. But they will eventually, hopefully, or maybe they won't. I hope they don't. But either way, oof. Dylan's here again today because, as we are still aware, currently the event known as COVID-19 Corona, whatever you like to call it that isn't culturally insensitive, is still kind of a big deal, and our boy Remington, since he is so far away from our general location, it's been a bit rough to set up a proper remote recording station. We've tried one recording.
But the quality of the audio.
I'm sorry, Dylan. It's what happens when we put all of our, resources into a face-to-face style podcast, because that's how we usually do things our best. We're working on it. We're trying to coach him through it, and hopefully we'll have something that's at least passable for Dylan's tastes.
If he's unable to get it set up, I swear I will track him down and I will hand him my personal audio equipment and set him up to record, because it's completely unacceptable.
Yeah. What's the quote that you said before? All USB microphones should die?
All USB microphones are shit.
Fair enough. But we will have to see. So Remington is fine. As fine as he can be. He's getting weeks off of anime, so he's counting his praises.
He's on top of the fucking world right now, I'd imagine.
But instead, we do have Dylan again for another experience, let's say, and you'll probably get a couple more in the future depending on how things go. It's like I said, we want to keep providing you guys content, but we don't want to, compromise anybody's health situation.
And since I'm trapped in the basement all of the time anyway, I'm a readily available source of content for the sadistic asshole right here.
And outside of the podcast, you don't really interact with anybody important, so.
No, that's true, aside from occasionally when I used to do sound equipment for political rallies.
Yeah, except there aren't going to be any rallies anytime soon, so you're golden.
Yeah, I'm absolutely set. I'm here all alone in this dark cage in the basement, not even a fucking Nintendo Switch to accompany me, so I can't talk to the horse named Elmer.
Oh, God. Animal Crossing is great, guys. You guys should play it. I've been addicted, horribly addicted. Time travel is my best friend, and for those of you who hate the time travel mechanic, I bought the game. I can do what I want.
You're not going around sharing your little friend code online so that people can travel to your island and abuse the stock market?
Well, I have abused the stock market occasionally, but lately the stock market has been a bit rough for me. I bought a bunch of turnips for about 70 a pop, and I've been only getting 60 and 68 and 67, and I have one more day, and hopefully I'll get at least some kind of profit, at least a couple bells. I mean, come on, the stock market is stressful, man.
The stock market's fucking stressful for everyone right now.
Yeah, everybody is putting all their turnips into one basket, and it ain't going so well.
No more islands where you can sell them for over 600 apiece.
Yeah, I don't think they get quite that high, but
they
if
do.
They do?
There is a subreddit and an entire website dedicated to finding where turnips are selling the highest. So then you just go to their island. The highest I have seen, I believe, was 662.
Fucking hell, that would be enough to pay off like just about any loan in the game, man. By the way, this is our Animal Crossing fan cast. Welcome. I'm glad you could join us.
Hello and welcome to Animal Crossing Out of Context.
God, nobody would listen to that because it's such a visual experience. I could just talk about my horse named Elmer or my frog named Puddles, who is probably my favorite, actually. She's just adorable. She's just a little tiny little red frog who's like a super Genki girl and like super cheery and peppy.
You love your Genki girls, don't you?
I can't help it. I like genuine positivity. It's just a nice feature. But as I am apparently a negative person to the eyes of many, that can't be the case for the show entirely. So, Dylan, today I have a bit of an anime for you.
Is it going to reflect on your Genki positivity?
A little bit. I mean, there's kind of a Genki girl involved, but not like the highest tier Genki girl. I'd say it's a solid C, or if you're really generous, maybe a B tier Genki girl. Because, Dylan, up to this point, you've only seen short form anime, and I've mostly did that because, you know, it's hard. I want to pick shows that I can show you without showing Remington that people won't be too disheartened by. You know, the first one we recorded, which I don't think you've released yet. I think you're saving that for a rainy day if you have to.
Yeah, that episode is sitting on the back burner. I'm not terribly proud of my own performance during it because it was my first time recording an episode with you, so...
Hey, everybody's first time is rough, man.
Would have been better if you used a little bit of lube.
Well, I'm not like that. I like to make sure that your experience is rough the first time. That way, future experiences are more positive. Oh my fuck, that was a horrible thing for me to say. I do not know if you can keep that in the show, and if you do, please tell them I was joking. I am joking. I am a gentle lover.
Implying you're a lover.
Okay, see, now you're just going for blood yourself. That's harsh.
Blow the bell.
Yeah, Yeah, Durian is going to be the least of your concerns in the future if you keep this shit up. But no, I showed you something harsh, and then the first one we published was one that was connected to you and me that Remington wouldn't really have cared about because, you know, he's not really into the alcohols, unlike either of us.
Yeah, he's a bit of a straight edge dude, which I can't really blame him. A lot of people have really negative experiences with alcohol impacting their lives. And it's more than fair for them to just, you know, not want to have anything to do with it.
I just like the flavors and the fun experiences that come with making new drinks. Again, drink responsibly, but that's besides the point. But this time around, I had a hard time trying to find something that was either short form and not worth showing Remington, or people could accept me not showing him, or finding a show. It's just hard finding shows to show you that I would be okay with not showing Remington. So today I chose one that Remington would have some harsh words about, I'm sure. Mostly due to some of the content within. Not anything super, like, out of the ordinary or strange, but just some of the references would make him grumpy and angry because he would be mad that he gets the references.
Does it reference a lot of Marvel films?
No. But that would be a different flavor of angry, and I don't think he's as angry at Marvel as he is just indifferent, which is more insulting to a lot of people, I've come to realize.
It's pretty polarizing, and if you don't fall on either of the poles, both sides of the pole really tend to be pissed at you.
Yeah, like, I feel like some of the most angry feedback we've gotten, or most heartbroken feedback we've gotten, was actually during our Haikyuu episode. I don't know if you've seen some of the emails, but we've gotten some things that are like, I'm so hurt. How could he? He completely missed the point. It's about friendship and such, and it's not fucking, you described it as good for written by a teenager, which is not.
It's a pretty harsh criticism, honestly.
Yeah, like, it's the most backhanded criticism I've ever heard him give for a show, and before that episode, I didn't have super strong feelings on Haikyuu. I liked it quite a bit, but I wasn't gonna, die on a cross for it. Now, fuck, those are all the best good boys, and I will defend them till the day I die at this point.
I will pull out the hammers and get the wood ready.
Can't we do, like, the PG, like, family Christian movies where it's just, like, rope?
No, I've used all the rope on Remington.
Oh, for crying out loud. I swear to God, the people that get these stupidly subtle references that you're making are going to either find them hilarious or just want to slap you in the face as much as I do. Probably the former, but that's just me. And so I chose an anime that was ultimately going to be a fun and interesting experience for you and me, because it has another thing that we have in common with it. First of all, it's a rom-com this time around.
Okay. I can only really think of, technically, Love is Like a Cocktail is a rom-com. I would consider it one. It's very romantic. It's a comedy.
Yeah, it's romantic comedy.
I think maybe the only other one I've seen was Love is War.
Yes.
Off the top of my head.
Love that show so much, no matter what Remington says, dick. This isn't the Spite Remington episode, not this one. It only is a little bit, just because of the polarizing opinions that he can have from time to time, and I don't get a chance to rag on him when he's not here to defend himself, so I like to capitalize on those. But for right now, you're not much of a rom-com person in general. Like, slice of life isn't usually your cup of tea.
No, not typically, though one of my favorite anime, one of the anime that hit me the hardest was A Slice of Life.
Oh, yeah. Was it Place for the Universe?
Yes, it fucking was.
And you still haven't finished that one.
Not yet. I haven't. I have so little time, honestly, but I want to. I want to just sit down and watch it and bask in the emotion and just feel.
Oh, no. Well, happy. You'll feel happy in some parts.
Oh.
I mean, to be fair, the episode that we left you off on kind of hit you pretty hard, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that hit me right in the feels, Dick.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of the way that show works. That show I could talk about and gush about for hours, and I'm probably going to do a return visit episode sometime soon, because we were close to finishing it. We got about halfway through, and I need some goodness in my life at this point. But for right now, I'm kind of giving you into a more traditional rom-com slice of life thing. Yeah, it's another harem show. Yeah, that's kind of the standard for a lot of these. But it's a bit of a curious harem show.
A curious harem, so it's going to be Case Closed meets...
That's a children's show, Dylan.
I was going to add in a harem. I was going to say Case Closed meets Rosario Vampire.
I mean, no, you couldn't be farther from the truth.
Case Closed is curious, and
is it, though? It's been going on for far too long to stay.
I'm curious as to why the fuck it's still going on.
Profits?
Is it the longest-running anime currently?
Currently, I would say yes. Don't quote me on that, but I think the only one that's second to it is probably One Piece.
Oh, it has One Piece beat. It is.
Yeah,
so...
I don't think there... Well, there's a... Okay, there is this one, comics style anime that's had different iterations for years and years, since like the 60s, I think. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. People who are super weebs will know and understand what I'm talking about.
Has it been consistently running this whole time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Just with different iterations, different versions. I forget the name of it, but I might do an episode on that eventually. I don't know. I'd have to actually watch it myself. It just didn't really spark any interest in me off the top of my head. Maybe that'll change. Hard to say.
So, curious harem anime.
Yeah, it's a curious one because it's built on a very interesting concept that has been done a couple times, and this one does it in a way that's very straightforward, is the way I would phrase it. So the anime we're going to be talking about today is an anime that is simply called, I say simply, Ore no Kanojo to Osananajimi ga Shuraba Sugiru.
Oh, fuck you. I'm not even going to try to say that.
No, I probably horribly butchered it, and I apologize to anybody who actually knows and understands Japanese. Well, let's be honest, most of you are weebs, so you barely understood that as is. But
Shade thrown.
I'm not wrong, though.
Okay, yeah, no, you're accurate.
Hey, it takes a weeb to know a weeb. That's all I'm saying. But the shortened name and the one that everyone refers to it as is just simply Oreshura.
Oreshura.
Yes.
What does that mean in English?
So the translated title is simply it's a light novel adaptation. If that wasn't fucking obvious.
What's the 30 fucking words in the title? No, I had no idea.
Yeah. It's literally my girlfriend and childhood friend fight too much.
Girlfriend and childhood friend. Okay, so that's the harem, I'm assuming.
Yes, plus some, because, these harem shows can never keep it, because, two, that's a love triangle.
Yeah, that's just domestic girlfriend.
You haven't finished domestic girlfriend. It gets more complicated later down the line.
Oh, God.
And by complicated, I mean terrifying and concerning and almost depressing. Domestic girlfriend's a whole nother beast, let me just tell you that.
It's one hell of a dumpster fire, yeah.
Yeah. But no, which is a very interesting choice for title, because the whole premise of this show is our main character, Eita Kido, is the child of some rather, let's say, shitty people, to say the least, in terms of romance, because his parents were violently infidelious. So to the point where love doesn't really mean anything to him anymore. He's a romance and love skeptic at this point. All he really cares about is focusing on his studies and eventually becoming a doctor one day.
Okay, so there are really two ways that kind of growing up situation could go. Either you could turn into that character, or you could turn into a complete slut.
That is true. I'm wondering if you're drawing some parallels yourself there, Mr. Dillon.
I ain't saying shit.
It's not like people are going to hear this. Come on.
Nah, who listens to this? Who would listen to an episode, and who would actually pay attention to the disturbing parallels about his childhood that one of the co-hosts was drawing?
But that's not the thing in common I wanted to draw for this show. Anything you draw on your own conclusions is on you, my man.
Even a stegosaurus?
What?
What if I draw a Stegosaurus on my own?
I mean, you can,
Oh, cool.
but this is an auditory medium, my dude.
I'll post it in the Discord and on the Twitter. I'll have you post it on the Twitter because I can't get it to work.
You can't get. You're our tech guy.
I hate Twitter. I hate social media.
So do I, but I still use it rarely. Sometimes we're getting better at it. But yeah, so Eita is completely against romance, only wants to focus on studies, which is very interesting for a harem protagonist in a lot of ways.
Yeah, most harem protagonists are lucky perverts, or they're completely clueless and accidentally getting an entire horde to follow them.
Well, there is a Venn diagram there, my man. You can still be a lucky pervert while not giving a crap about emotions and love and all that jazz. Look at, for a bit of a weird example, Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece. He accidentally wanders in on a couple situations, not many, thankfully, and it's not what it's about, but he's so, doesn't care about it that he has wandered in on those situations multiple times. A lot of people consider him to be one of the few asexual anime characters, anime protagonists especially. But at this point, it's hard to say if that's actually the case. It's just that anytime he's had any kind of advances made towards him from any sex or anything like that, any gender or anything, which has really only been one character who's mindlessly obsessed with him in later seasons. But that's more complicated. I know way too much about One Piece to...
Do they want that stretchy...
Yes.
They want that stretchy dick?
Yes. But not as literally as you think. So a lot of people, I don't know if it was ever confirmed by the author or not, but he is considered to be one of the few asexual types of characters, next to Piccolo as well.
I mean, technically Piccolo's asexual, yeah.
Yeah, he's literally asexual.
He is asexual. He's, would he also be technically considered hermaphroditic?
No. I feel like just due to the lack of genitalia.
Yeah, as far as we know.
No, there's no genitalia. It's confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah, because...
So then, not even close to hermaphroditic, just genuinely just asexual.
Yeah, because, I mean, the Namekian people are closer to that of plants and slugs than they are to normal animals.
Slugs are just hermaphroditic, though.
Well, yeah, but...
They spear each other. They actually create an opening.
Yes, but Namekians reproduce asexually is the thing.
Yes, they regurgitate their young in an egg.
Yep, and they don't need to eat or drink. Well, they do need to drink water. That's the only thing. They don't eat. They don't really...
They're elves. They're plant elves.
Yeah, they're basically plant elves.
What an interesting conclusion. So that the reason they're green is because of chlorophyll.
Basically. Yeah, because they don't need to eat.
How many suns are on the planet Namek?
3, if I remember correctly.
So then
it's always daytime there.
That would explain why they're so powerful.
Mm-hmm. And there's not really any other... There's some wildlife, like there's frogs. To be fair, though, Akira Toriyama didn't really spend too much time developing the planet before it got blown up, but that's besides... Oh, spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers for a 30-year-old show at this point?
Roundabout, yeah.
Or at least 30 years old for the manga.
Yeah, it started in the 80s, if I remember correctly, late 80s.
The original Dragon Ball was fucking ancient.
So yeah, no, it's been a while. But I'm getting off track, as I usually do with you, Dylan.
We're both ADD as fuck, so it gets a bit weird.
And we're off our meds. Yay! Thank you, pharmaceutical companies. And so Ada is kind of living his life as he wants to, ignoring all of his teenage instincts and emotions and whatnot.
More power to him.
Right. Pretty good.
I imagine that's what Rem was like as a teenager.
He was much hornier as a teenager, I'd imagine, but he wouldn't show it.
You know what? Actually, I think that's Remington now. I'm assuming he's always got a raging erection, but he just keeps...
Well, there's a reason we have tablecloths on the table, just to keep things hidden.
Oh, God, I'm on his side of the table. Ew. Oh, yeah. The other side of the table's crunchy.
God, Dylan!
There's stalactites.
I mean, better than stalagmites, I suppose.
Both are pretty fucking horrifying, honestly.
Yeah, this is a horrible train of conversation. But this behavior is very well known for him because all he focuses on is his studies, and that kind of gave him a bit of a reputation. But one day, the beautiful and popular Masuzu Natsukawa notices his apathy. And since she is, the popular girl, the beautiful, mysterious girl that everybody loves and longs for and is constantly showered with affection, she's sick of that. As fair you might be at that point.
So she wants to change him.
No.
Oh.
No. It's much more cold and calculating than you'd think. It is straight up. She walks up to him one day and asks him to pretend to be her boyfriend.
Just to pretend. Okay.
To pretend, because she also isn't all that interested in the romance aspect of things.
Oh, that is clever.
So the idea is if they pretend to be dating each other, then there won't be these advances. And that's where the premise of the show kind of starts. It's literally the story of, hey, these two characters are pretending to date, and they are going to get into shenanigans and such to avoid the troubles of romance. But of course, since it's a rom-com, that doesn't last for long, obviously. But of course, since Eita is so like hardcore in the camp of I don't want to deal with this shit, because that would still take time from studying. Well, Masuzu is smart and clever and conniving. She has a collection. She stumbled across a collection of his Chunibyo days.
Oh no, she's blackmailing him.
And she's blackmailing him into doing this for her.
Oh, yeah, one of that kind of incredibly focused individual during a Chunibyo days. I'm imagining super edgelord.
Yeah, it's a very similar flavor to the actual Chunibyo anime, but distinctly different in a lot of ways. Like it doesn't like go full into that. It's a bunch of his embarrassing online stuff that, if I remember correctly, was jotted down in a journal or something along those lines. I might be crossing the streams. Again, these are some concepts that have been done before, but they're kind of smashing them into a singular anime.
And a nice little anime casserole.
Yeah, very much so. And now the show is just a rom-com of him having to pretend to be in a relationship with this girl, and his childhood friend, who obviously has had a crush on him for, ages, is trying to cope with that as well. And they start a club together to try and they start a weird club so that they don't have to interact with other folks. That essentially boils down to, this is how you can be popular, the club. It's a very scattered show with a lot of strange things, but sometimes the jokes land just right, and ultimately it's going to be interesting to see how you react to it. The thing that you and I have in common with it is there's a lot of reference in it that you and I are probably going to get.
Okay, cool. So far it's sounding like an 80s movie. It's like it's
very Parent Trap, isn't it?
I'm thinking, honestly, like 16 Candles.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking very like John Hughes style. It's every John Hughes film aside from Breakfast Club, the best of them, mashed together. Actually, no. Depending on how the club thing goes, it could even be including the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting show to say the least. I don't think it's a groundbreaker by any means, but I'll be curious to see what you think of it. And ultimately, if I was to show this to Remington, he would just get more and more angry at the references than he would actually critiquing the show itself. So hopefully this will fly past the radar of people wanting to hear Rem listen to it. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll do a revisit where I take Remington through some of the shows I've shown you, but that seems like a long ways off. For now, Dylan, let's get to it. Let's go watch some consuming 4 whole episodes of the 2013 anime by A1 Pictures, Oreshura. And I'm saying the shortened version because the long version is a little too complex for my limited Japanese knowledge.
That's a really long name.
Even for a light novel, it's very long. It's just that fourth word in there that's getting really complicated. Oh, excuse me, fifth word.
It's like, what, 10 letters long and just a bunch of J's and O's and S's?
Yeah, it's got some syllables that repeat that just sound a little weird in my American mouth. It's not a good mouthfeel for me. I just don't have that flow.
Unlike that word, however, tonight's cocktail has a wonderful mouthfeel.
Oh, yeah. Compared to last time, it's the same concept, but just a bit more work put into it.
A bit more refined. It is effectively a proper White Russian, except we used lactose-free milk because I am a lactose-intolerant little bitch.
And we don't need you shitting on a podcast because nobody wants to listen to farts directly in their ear for upwards of an hour.
There was a really viral video compilation a year or two back of a security guard who recorded all of his farts. He then got fired after the video went viral.
Much like his farts, apparently.
Yes, fired right off. But this, yes, it's effectively a White Russian, but it also has a Greek frap kind of foamed on top and then mixed in with everything. And so I am actually mildly tipsy and really fucking wired because the Greek frap had the equivalent of like 3 or 4 cups of coffee in it for each of our drinks.
Yeah, it was basically coffee whipped cream just without the cream part.
And it was lovely.
It was very good. Like, it actually made instant coffee have more value than just, caffeine in a desperate situation.
Instant coffee's best value is when being cooked, because the only two ways you can do much cooking with coffee are either if you use instant coffee or if you actually brew a pot of coffee, and sometimes you don't need that extra water.
Yeah, no, it turned out honestly really nice. Although I do think we might want to work a little bit on the ratios because this one turned out extra boozy.
Yeah. Oh, you're fucking telling me.
Like, I think it was like supposed to be what, like a 1-to-2 ratio of like your alcohols and your cream, isn't it?
So, not exactly. Now, I based this originally off of a recipe for a Black Russian. Black Russian is a White Russian before the cream. Black Russian was originally the most popular cocktail. The only reason the White Russian became popular was because of the Big Lebowski, yada, yada, yada. But Black Russian, the standard ratio is, first you have a shit ton of ice in your little glass, and it's, I believe, a 5-to-2 ratio of vodka to Kahlua. However, I didn't want to die. And
Yeah.
I mean, we have shit to do today. So I elected instead to do 1-to-1 on vodka to Kahlua, and then added about another one full measure of the lactose-free milk on top. Made it look all pretty. There will be a picture maybe on our Twitter or in the Discord. I don't fucking know.
Either way.
And then the Greek frap is instant coffee and sugar in kind of equal measures, whipped up with a bit of hot water into a nice froth.
Yeah, it's weird because chemically speaking, the instant coffee is the only way you can make that kind of coffee whipped cream without actually, going through the process of making actual whipped cream.
Mm-hmm. It's. I believe the coffee's acting as a surfactant, I think is the right term. I don't know. I have not taken a chemistry class in 10 years.
Well, I could Google it for you, or I could just let you sound smart.
Cool, surfactant. The coffee acts as surfactant, kind of like the oils in the cream. And that caused it to get all whippy and frothy. Or the fat in the cream, not the oils, the fat that's in the cream. To get all frothy, and it's lovely. And I have gotten way off topic describing tonight's cocktail, and I am, yes.
That's okay. According to the last update we did with your little episode, a lot of people seem to be really interested in cocktail talk with Dylan, so...
Oh, don't worry. When we eventually have the camera set up and running, there will be a proper video episode. Maybe not with cocktails, but it will go over brewing an anime-inspired beverage.
Oh, wow. You're going to go full how to drink or cocktail chemistry on us, are you?
More or less, and it's going to involve you chewing up a lot of rice and spitting into a cup.
Okay, I'm all for authenticity.
You're going to also have to wear a kimono.
You know what? I might be down for that. You get me a nice kimono? I bet I could make that work.
Don't you have a kimono?
Nah. I have some haori, I believe, lying around somewhere. Cosplay, man.
Oh, yeah, fair. I would have figured you were big enough weeb to actually have a kimono.
Well, so technically, a kimono isn't really...
Dude, I have no fucking idea, so give me your technicalities.
Kimono... oh, look, it doesn't matter.
Is a kimono the one for women?
Kind of. It's for, if I remember correctly...
The ceremonial one.
Not quite.
Tell you what, I will let you look that up.
Just so I don't get it completely wrong.
I mean, please find our ignorance charming, but we do make asses of ourselves on the regular.
Yes.
Because I have received a fair bit of disparaging remarks on some of my comments from last episode, which are all valid, honestly. Because, hey, honestly, I don't know shit about Pokemon. Wait, that was from last week's pre-banter, actually.
Yeah, no, completely fair. But Pokemon is such a big part of our daily lives that we have to bring it up as much as possible.
And I honestly didn't know they did dual types in Gen 1. I don't remember that.
Yeah, there weren't many. There were only a couple, though.
I was but a weebab.
I beg your pardon?
I was but a weebab.
Oh, okay, I see. I thought you were dropping some kind of strange new Dylan slang on me, and I was not emotionally prepared.
No, I was being incredibly racially insensitive towards you.
You know what? That's completely fair. You make me drink, so I can't exactly argue that fact. Just for clarification, there are different types of kimono, but kimono can be a catch-all term for the traditional style of garment.
Okay, fantastic. I was somewhat accurate.
Yeah. Like, there are specific kimonos for different scenarios, but it's the general idea is the full draped over clothing with sealed with an obi, which is like a large silk belt.
Okay, kind of like how I have different top hats for different reasons. Like if I'm dressed up all nice, I'll put on a nice little dapper black top hat. Or if I'm feeling really sexy, I'll put on some lingerie and a pink silk top hat.
I do like that pink silk top hat. It was a very interesting experience when you wore it to my last birthday party, but nevertheless, I will say it was quite the crowd pleaser.
Oh, definitely. It's always fun when I get dressed up like that.
But enough of our weird habits and drinks aside, Dylan, we're here to talk about anime. And the anime we watched today was Oreshura, 4 episodes. Came out in 2013. Got a pretty average rating on Mal, about a 7.18, so not too high, not too low either.
Hold on, are you sure it wasn't JoJo's that we watched? Because holy fuck, that was a lot of references.
Oh,
I mean, not even, it's not even references. It's blatant homage. They are saying, hey, this is JoJo's. We love this show.
I mean, the most quotable line from this show was, wait, you haven't read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? No wonder you're not popular.
That was definitely a part that stuck with me, especially because I'm so bad with names, and
You and Remy.
Chihuahua, yes, Chihuahua, because that's a name I can remember. She seemed mildly, still pretty much in her Shinibyo phase, honestly, is what it seemed like.
I think the idea is all the characters in this show are still young.
Yeah, they're young enough that they're hating their former selves, but it's still part of who they are.
It's where they're coming to terms with the junior high thing. Because, I mean, they're all about 16 in this show, which is about when you start to realize, oh my God, junior high was hell. Worse than I thought it was. Thank God it's over. Also, why the fuck did I run around with my arms behind my back?
You know what? I really wouldn't be surprised if you were one of those
I
kids.
actually wasn't, believe it or not.
Oh, did you do any running?
Naruto running? No.
Just any.
Oh, running in general? Yeah, I had to for PE.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Was that not a thing at your junior high?
Oh, absolutely not. We either were made to walk the entire field behind the school, or depending on which gym teacher we had that day, because it was rotation, one of them was also like a driver's ed teacher. Then we were also made to...
Wait, driver's ed in junior high?
Yeah.
Weird.
It was one individual class, like once per week, which is why they had the teacher rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you do turn 15 in junior high. Well, at least you do in most local junior highs here.
And there were quite a few 16-year-olds, actually, that were also at my school. My school was fucked up. This is also the school that, when I was 13, I got the ever-loving shit kicked out of me by a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds. So...
yes. Dark stories with Dylan. Always a pleasure.
Storytime with Uncle Dylan is fantastic.
You do always have some of the most interesting stories, but they also make most people feel bad for you. Like, you don't intend them to, like, be kind of pity searching. But a lot of times they're like, oh, Dylan.
Yeah, I have that effect on people. I don't really want or care for pity. It's just, hey, you know what? Hey, life is shit sometimes. Show empathy to the people that are in those situations currently to help them out.
Wow, that was surprisingly wholesome coming from you.
That's because I'm drunk. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, this show is quite an interesting one, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it was cute. I liked it. There was actual character depth from the 3 main characters that, not so much with Chihuahua, unfortunately. I have the feeling she's going to continue to develop. This is a show I really wouldn't mind watching more of.
Yeah, it only has 13 episodes. First season came out in 2013. There's been rumors of a new season dropping sometime this year or next year, but with the way things have been going, it's not high on the priority list for old shows to get a sequel.
Fair, and considering it's A1, right?
It is A1 Pictures, and A1 Pictures dips their toes in just about any kind of anime you can think of. I like to think of them as, in a way, they're kind of like the Fox of anime studios.
They got bought by Disney?
You know what? Kind of.
Oh, shit.
Because A1 Pictures is one of the larger studios, and it has some of the most varied shows to be produced from it. With very mixed degrees of quality because of how large and diverse the studio is.
I'm sure they have tons of teams working on a bunch of different projects, and definitely their A team, unfortunately, wasn't on the art team for this.
Oh, I think it did okay. It was definitely a lower budget show from what I could tell. I didn't look at the exact numbers because I'm too lazy to do that.
That's fair. Art-wise, they definitely put effort into a lot of the stills. However, there were a lot of profile shots that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The profile shots in anime always make me feel a little bit weird, but overall, art-wise, nothing was bad enough for me to go, ah!
Yeah, a lot of it can be chalked up to stylistic choices. What I really enjoy, though, is they actually use a rather soft pastel palette for all of their colors and outlines so that they can kind of give it a lighter, fluffier feel overall.
And it gave, again, bad with names, Psycho Bitch. It gave her an ethereal vibe, and they
did really well with that. And I think at times they actually somewhat changed the color of her outline.
Oh, yeah. It's a pretty interesting technique that they started doing around this time. I don't know if they did it prior. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but a lot of people have been experimenting with different color outlines to give different feels to shows. Very popular one that comes to mind is No Game, No Life, where all of theirs are done with red outlines.
That would be an interesting one to take a look at.
It is very interesting, and Remington would hate it.
Remington hates almost all. He actually might not have completely hated this if he had seen at least the 4 episodes that we saw, because the 4th episode, I think, is really what made it.
Yeah, no, it completed the first little story arc of the series.
Because initially we had the psycho bitch, my very first
Masuzu.
Masuzu, okay.
Masuzu, yeah, okay.
Masuzu, okay. So Masuzu, my very first note that I wrote down was, oh, I like the psycho. Because she knew what she was doing, even if she didn't completely know the reasons why she was doing it, because she's a deeply damaged individual and she just wants to be cared about, even if she is playing it incredibly cold and calculated.
Mm-hmm. She is what I would like to call so aware of herself that she's unaware of herself is the idea that they're trying to get across with this particular character. Because she's very clearly very intelligent and has some very complex issues when it comes to romance and attention and such. But also she is an extreme sadist and she enjoys tormenting people, even though the process to do so also seems to be very fun for her.
Shit, that reminds me of my first girlfriend.
Yeah, no, the other thing I noticed with this show is I figured you would draw some similarities between the main characters and yourself.
Hey, first of all, fuck you, just because the main character went through some extreme family trauma when he was 14-ish, that's about when they go through their 3rd year of middle school in Japan, right?
Yeah, 14, 15, give or take.
Okay, and his very first girlfriend was absolutely, completely fucking bad shit and manipulating him the whole... Okay, you know what? Fuck you.
I'm sorry, Dylan, but I know how to pick shows when it comes to this kind of program. And like I said, the main reason I wouldn't give this one to Remington with where things are right now is because most of the JoJo reference, like the JoJo references were a huge part.
Mm-hmm, definitely, but most of them were part 3 and part 4.
Yep, which are, the parts that a lot of people, that really solidified JoJo's popularity for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, especially just the name dropping of stands at random point, or when Masuzu tried to force the main character to reenact a scene from part 1.
Honestly, probably one of the funniest bits in the show, because if you're a diehard JoJo fan, you'll recognize the wording immediately. But if you're only like casually into JoJo, you'll be watching it, and then she'll come around and be like, "That was my perfect reenactment. What did you think?" And they're like, "Oh fuck, that was a JoJo's. God damn it was a JoJo's reference."
Yep, and it got. I mean, I was just like, "Oh, you fuckers!" They were kind of again really ham-fisted with it, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. Not all of the cringe in the show was fun though. A lot of it had me just pucker butting it because it was. I'm personally not really a huge fan of cringe comedy.
Oh, no.
The cringe comedy in here was pretty top tier.
It's too relatable for you, I take it.
Definitely. That is full-on 14, 15-year-old Dylan tier cringe. If I had to go and handle my past self for any amount of time, I would be reacting probably the exact same way I reacted when you were watching my reactions to the show, where I was just cringing up really tight, squinting, trying not to look, but knowing I couldn't look away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I left out that this was a cringe comedy because I knew that would be a pleasant and horrible surprise for you.
Yeah, I actually did write a note on that. So with the cringe comedy, they did start off light before they really started hammering it in. I wrote, oh, good cringe. And then ... ish as they continue, because they keep upgrading the cringe level up through the 3rd episode. And each scene has its own, like, tacked-on little bit of cringe, and then they keep building mostly on the main character's Nubio past and his diary and everything that he has written. And then at one point, I can't remember exactly what set me off. I believe it was the acted-out scene in the classroom where I wrote, oh, shit, I lied, bad cringe.
Oh, it was delightful. Yeah, because Unlike a show like Watamote, which is all cringe all the time and is the highest tier of painful fucking cringe, this is a show that utilizes cringe in a similar way to Love True Nubio and Other Delusions, but they really like to hammer in some of the real factor of it because all of the reading out of the notebook, the famous notebook with all of his little stories, read exactly like fan fiction of a junior high school otaku or weeb. Because they are chock full of references to the favorite, like, cool things in different anime, and just amplified to the extreme. It's like, hey, I like Dragon Ball, I like Bleach, I like Naruto. What if we combine them all together?
If anyone wants to get some Dylan points and get a shout out, they should write a fan fiction featuring Shaun raving about his triple Z rating, even though he's so lazy. He's only a D-rated demon, and his past life is a dragon fighting the wyverns.
You want people to make a Chunibyo fanfiction of me?
Oh God, yes.
I would actually be
would
down for
delight
that. It'd
in
be a
it.
nice change from all of the horribly graphic sexual stuff. By the way, guys, why am I always the girl?
You were not a girl in the most recent one that I read. You were not actually down here. I read this one entirely myself. The most recent fan fiction for the monthly patron bonus. And it actually featured you sleeping with Umaru-chan. Not fucking, just sleeping with.
Okay, that's a very important clarification to make, because unless there's some aging up things going on, I am uncomfortable. And if you guys have no fucking clue what we're talking about, it's content on our Patreon, which you are more than welcome to join if you're able to. But at any rate, back to Oreshura, kind of a not bad, but not super great show overall, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty solid. It's definitely very hit and miss. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I can completely understand it only getting the one season, because I don't really know exactly what more else there is to do with it unless they get a whole new cast of characters.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the only thing that people generally remember from this is that Masuzu is a bitch.
She's a very smart bitch, but she's a bitch.
And that this is JoJo references the anime. And that alone is enough to get people interested in watching a couple episodes of it for fun. And they try to do some fun emotional stuff with it, but...
Oh, definitely in that fourth episode, the, not exactly the whole confrontation with the bullies, but before that, between Masuzu and the main character, that little bit where she actually was slightly vulnerable. And
Or was she?
I'm going to actually say yes.
Yeah, no, like, that's the thing with Masuzu is the whole idea of her character is to be a... Oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? Tricky? Mysterious? Weird?
A manipulative little bitch.
Yes.
Having known many girls like that, I have the feeling that was a genuinely vulnerable moment.
Perhaps. But like I said, as someone who's seen the whole show, will they go much farther with it? Hard to say. I mean, I believe the light novels still continue after the first season, but I haven't been curious enough to jump into them myself. I just thought that this was a fun little show with some really top-tier JoJo references and some genuinely funny moments and some genuinely cringeful moments.
Oh, it did not. It did absolutely no pussyfooting around the cringe. A lot of anime do tend to, they pull the camera away from the cringe. They, like, end the scene before it gets incredibly cringy because you know how it's going to progress. This anime said, no, fuck you, and they just kept hammering it in. But there was one takeaway from this anime that made me think of Japanese schools in a whole new light.
Oh?
Their desks have fucking hooks on it for their bags.
Oh, Dylan.
Why does that not exist here? That would have been fucking amazing during my middle school and high school years.
I mean, most people in our high schools just hang them off of the back of the chair, my dude.
Oh, we weren't allowed to. We kept breaking the chairs because we didn't have enough locker time, so all of our books were in our bags.
You went to the most ghetto-ass school, didn't you?
Yes.
Jesus fuck, Dylan. It's amazing you're as wholesome a guy as you are.
It takes having to go through some shit to be a great person, I feel. I'm actually not a great person, so that's probably complete and utter bullshit, but I think I'm okay.
You're doing a lot better than other folks. That's why we keep you around, my man. That and you know how to edit, which is very helpful.
I know how to edit and I make you drinks.
See, like, as a young and virulent Irishman, that is kind of the way I gotta go with things. But any final thoughts on Oreshura before we get out of here, my friend?
Yeah, actually, I thought it was a really cute commentary on teenage relationships and compatibility and growth. I honestly, it gets a solid thumbs up from me. If you can handle cringe comedy, or if you enjoy it and you had a bit of a fucked up childhood, I'd say you're gonna enjoy it.
And if you understand JoJo references. If you don't understand JoJo references, you're gonna miss a lot of shit.
You'll at least know that it's JoJo's references because they call them out. Well, they call almost all of them out.
Yeah, there are some like poses and other like lines said, and especially in the cringe moments that are like ripped straight from JoJo's and other anime that if you're not paying attention, close enough attention, you won't notice. But things like summoning the 7 dragons to defeat the levels Triple Z demons.
Yeah, there were a few things that did end up going over my head because either A, I was not completely paying attention to the cringe because I was cringing.
Yep.
Or B, there were references to something that I wasn't even aware of yet. I did catch quite a few, including, for some reason, a princess with a mobile suit in the dungeon of the castle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to make sure that you have your mecha mixed with your fantasy, or else what's the fucking point?
Most great fantasy does at least have some sort of sci-fi element in it, so
Hey.
that is fair.
Warforged dries up, that's all I'm trying to say. The Ebron book is so good, guys, if you like D&D, but...
Oh, are we going to do D&D out of context now? All right, cool.
Oh, Jesus, I don't think I could DM for you fuckers. Not only that, but a 3-man D&D game, I don't know how well that would go.
We'll pick some people up. I will walk down to the corner. I will find any people I can, and I will bring them back here when we're not in quarantine.
I was about to say, Dylan, you can't break quarantine for this shit. You're only allowed to break quarantine to do a podcast with me.
We are media. We are under the essential list, I believe. It hasn't really been tested, so I don't know if the podcast could technically be considered essential or not.
You know, we're doing like commission-based work. It'll be interesting to see how our tax report looks at the end of the season.
Oh, fuck. Don't get me started on that. We're all gonna have to talk to an accountant.
I do every year anyways. But our financial issues aside, Dylan, I have one final question to ask.
Sure.
Any chance you'd like to watch some more Oreshura with me sometime?
You know what? Yeah, sure, definitely. I enjoyed that show more than enough that I will be willing to continue to watch it. I'm probably going to need a few days between, like, blocks of episodes, like maybe one arc or so every couple days. And then I think that's a really good way to digest it.
You could probably finish it in 3 days if you did it that way from start to finish. Because
think-
like I said, only 13-episode anime.
And honestly, binging an entire anime at once is usually a really bad way to watch a show. Most anime are not really built for it, which is why there's smaller chunks of filler, which is why there's repetition, which is why there's flashbacks.
It depends on the show very much so, but I can understand where you're coming. A slice of life like this, yeah, makes sense.
Definitely.
But if you think this cringe is bad, maybe I'll show you Watamode sometime.
I've seen Watamode. You and I have actually watched a few episodes together.
Oh, we have.
I enjoyed Watamode.
Watamode is really good.
It's cute.
If you like cringe comedy, that's the one you should really watch. But with that, Dylan, thank you all so much for tuning in, everybody. We really appreciate it. Before we get out of here, though, we do have some minor house cleaning to do. That and we have to finish our drinks, which is very important.
I've already finished mine.
Believe me, it comes across. First and foremost, as we've mentioned previously, we have a Patreon. And on this Patreon, you can gain access to all kinds of bonus content, including monthly bonus episodes, our random pre-banters, options to integrate in polls and Q&As, all kinds of fun things. And sometimes you'll even get hints as to what the next episode will be.
And one of those benefits is indeed weekly shoutouts, as I'm pretty sure you've noticed by now, unless you skip once you reach this part of the episode, which, hey, that's not cool. We still throw in quite a few fun jokes.
With the way our show works, man, every episode could be someone's potentially first episode. Think about it. You could be the first interaction that anybody has to our podcast because they're like, oh, Oreshura, I haven't thought about that in forever. Let's give that a listen.
I feel really bad for that because I have gotten definitely very off track today many, many times. This has been more just a banter episode than a full-on in-depth analytical review, which, hey, I'm not the in-depth analytical review guy. That is Remington.
Mm-hmm. Yep, nope. I keep you around because, our dynamic is more of a feel-out type of dynamic. We like to actually think about how the anime made us feel compared to the detailed nitty-gritty stuff, We're allowed to like things that aren't perfect, unlike Mr. Remington.
That's part of Remington's charm, though. I enjoy that aspect of him.
Yes, as do we all, until he pisses us off and we want to stab him in the throat. But that being said, Dylan, who are the lovely people who are helping us out?
So while we would love to get a shout out to our bland bitch protagonists and magical girls, and hey, maybe one of these days I will go through our entire list of all of them and give you guys a shout out. The main reward, once you reach our Yandere waifu tier, is a shout-out. And so we are going to give our shout-outs this week, starting off with Xerix, Uliana, That One Weeb, Sarah Birch, Salty Pretzel, Ross Palmer, Leos123, Kyle King, Kazu Muriko, who, hey, is a mod on our Discord, an absolutely fantastic job of it, Jacob Livingston, H. Wood, Hayden Lecker, Grant Stevens, Glenn Michael Dolan, Farmer Weeb, Anthony Chukachian, Anonymous Gamer, Andrew Rowicki, and Miles to Go, as well as Alexander fuck. I've said his name a dozen times now, and I have barely started to stumble on it because I'm tipsy. Naracencio? Naciancio. Naciancio? Fuck. Sean? Hey, what's your
It's
info?
Narancia, actually.
Alexander Narancia. Oh, dear. Avoid gates.
Yeah, and how do you feel about Aerosmith, by the way, my man?
Hole in My Soul is probably my favorite one of their songs because it's so stupidly written.
Sounds about right.
We have now decided to steal Shaun's father's car. We are now running all the way up to some random castle in Scotland.
Is it because I'm ginger?
Yes!
Okay.
You caught that one.
Fair enough.
We're in our boy wizard tier with Rich Huffnagel, Chase Fredette, and Brady Weinbarger. And then, of course, at the very, very tip top, in the Oval Office, we have a tier that has far too many people in it, guys. Why?
Some are in it just as a joke, some are in it because they genuinely care, and overall, we appreciate every single one of you.
We do appreciate all of you very, very much. We're just confused.
As is standard for the rest of us. But who is in our Chef and Musco tier, my friend?
Well, surely Sean's favorite member of the Chef and Musco tier, first of all, with Zachary Shirley.
Absolutely, because his name is a pun and I cannot resist.
And, of course, the fantastic Cassidy Justin.
Of course, without her, we would be lost.
And our original Chef Namusco, Saint, and his counterpart, Sinner.
Yes, our patron saint and our sinner who really, really needs a kick in the ass every once in a while because, my God, I'm amazed that he is still supporting us like this.
He's gonna get a kick in the shrimp nigiri soon.
Oh, fuck you.
And then, finally, with someone who decided an inside joke, one that we elaborated on last week, so we're not gonna take the time to do it this week, but good old take your damn money, Dylan.
This just goes to show, you got to be careful who you cross. Otherwise, they are going to find ways to get back at you, even if they are some weirdly positive and counter-manipulative ways.
They're gonna break your shin and then give you money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But thank you guys so much for all of your support. I don't think we can actually overstate how much it means to us.
It does mean a lot, but we understand that giving cash is not exactly for everybody. Not everybody can afford to, especially in times like these. Like, guys, if you're a patron of us and you're a little strapped for cash, it's okay. We can live without it. Focus more on your guys' own stability before you go start supporting us.
Your guys' lives take priority, so please take care of yourselves.
Yes. But if you still want to support us and you don't have the cash, there's another way you can help us out. And that's by leaving a review on whatever platform you listen on, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, or honestly, if you want to help us grow, word of mouth is a great way to do it as well.
And if you want to give a shout out to us, just maybe chat with us a little bit, maybe leave a recommendation, you can send an email on over to either animeoutofcontext@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at AnimeConPod, or if you're lucky and keep an eye on our Twitter, you can catch a link, usually a limited time one or a limited entry one, to our Discord, which has a couple hundred people in it right now. It's a really positive community of just podcast lovers, people who love certain anime, hate certain anime, and just people who just chat, play games, share memes with one another.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get better at regularly dropping more tweets. It's just we got to be careful because there are a lot of nasty spammers out there, and for some reason, weebs are easy to target.
So for now, until we have better moderation in place with more stringent terms of access, we're just going to do the limited time links.
Yeah, we're bad with social media, guys, if that wasn't obvious.
Oh yeah, we are really bad with it. We're kind of social media illiterate.
Yeah, we're doing what we can. Just think of that as one of our charming factors. We're like that old guy that doesn't understand how Windows work.
That went completely over my head. What?
I mean, sometimes you gotta open the latch, sometimes you gotta, crank it up a bit. Windows are complicated.
You just look through them. It's a piece of glass.
It's more to it than that, man. It's a complicated art.
But they just stand there and look pretty, right?
No. That's not gonna make that joke.
No. Were you gonna compliment me?
Sure, Dylan. I was talking about you. You stand there and look pretty and do most of the work for us.
I mean, I am the prettiest member of the podcast.
You keep telling yourself that, man.
I need to remember to add in a very sparkly sound effect there.
Just add harps.
Hopefully I remember to trim this chunk out, so I just add that there. I probably won't. I'm a bit of a dick.
You're gonna have lots of editing to do for this one, I think. Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Shigga-doo-doo-doo-doo.